Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome to Dragon Age Inquisition. And yes, I'm playing the PlayStation 3 version of it. So, picking up after the events of Dragon Age 2, the war with the Templars and Mages has been going on for a while now. A peace summit has been called by the Chantry at the Temple of Sacred Ashes from Origins. So, looks like everyone's heading over there. Let's see if we can bring an end to this. Once I connect to the servers, of course. Man, everybody's going. Hope they have enough room. Let's see. Well, I can't use the D-pad. I gotta actually use the... Are they inverted? Night features a quiet base so as not to disturb other people, especially at night. Do. Okay, I think we're good. Never mind, we're not. Okay. Human. Humans are the most numerous and powerful race in Thedas. They're also the most divided politically and seem to thirst for conflict. Human characters receive a bonus ability point at the start of the game. Elf. Elves are historically oppressed people, distinguishable by their lithe frames and pointed ears. Though most survive in the poorest fringes of human cities, others live as nomads known as the Dalish. Elves receive a bonus of 25% to range defense. Dwarf. Dwarves are short, stocky, and most spend their entire lives underground. Those exiled to the surface are often merchants or smugglers. Because dwarves have no connection to the Fade, they cannot be mages, but receive a 25% bonus to magic defense. And we can choose to be a Qunari. The Qunari are a race of horned giants who follow a strict religious text known as the Qun. Those who have abandoned its principles are known as Tal Vashath, and often work as mercenaries. Qunari characters get a bonus plus 10% physical damage resistance. We're going to go with human. Rogue, dual wield. Rogues are fighters who rely on speed and agility rather than heavy armor, using skill and an advantageous position on the battlefield to deal incredible damage. They may get up close and personal with daggers or strike from a distance with arrows. Warrior. Warriors are frontline combatants, able to withstand incredible punishment and heavy armor. They are proficient in the use of two-handed weapons like mauls and greatswords, but may combine a smaller weapon with a shield for added defense. Mage. Mages channel magical power into spells capable of a wide range of effects, from debilitating opponents, protecting allies, or unleashing devastating elemental energy. Those who wield magic are widely feared for their abilities to, and their rebellion against Chantry control has left the land in chaos. Well, in Origins I was a rogue, In 2, I was a mage. So, in this, we're going with warrior to round it out. And I think I'm going to go with weapon and shield. Okay. For players new to role-playing games or those interested in a purely narrative focus, combat will provide minimal challenge. For players interested in a balanced but challenging gameplay experience, this setting is recommended for most players. For seasoned players looking for a significant challenge in combat, enemies are punishing and battles require a clever mind for tactics. For masochists and the truly mad, it doesn't get more challenging than this. I think I'm going to stick with normal. Okay, we're human warrior on normal difficulty. As the youngest child of the Trevelyan noble house, you grew up in the free marchers city of Ostwick and have enjoyed a life of privilege. With close family ties to the Chantry and many relatives among the priesthood and the Templars, you were always expected to follow a similar path in service of the Maker, regardless of how you feel about the matter personally. Willing or unwilling, you were sent to the Chantry's conclave to assist relatives who sought to make peace between the Templars and mages. It didn't go well. Yes, I want to import a custom world state. Yes, I believe that is it. Okay. There might be a few discrepancies, because a few details I couldn't remember exactly, but I believe this is correct. Let's go then. Oh, we can tell them to stop fighting. That's nice. Gain power and influence by sealing fade rifts, establishing new camps, and completing quests, as well as claiming keeps, fulfilling requisitions, and recruiting agents. Warriors and rogues generate stamina with each successful basic attack. Pulsating green icon. Loading. This is a loading. This is a loading screen. Okay. Test voice.
How much is this going to cost me exactly? I just hope I can help. Everything you've heard? Completely true. How much is this going to cost me exactly?
Now, what exactly would they want him to look like? That's a good question. Start with this one. Oh. That doesn't look too bad. Eye color. I can barely see it. That's a green, right? I'm just gonna go with that. Possibly. I think we'll just stick with this one. Light brown or dark brown? Beard. Yeah, we're definitely not giving you one of those. Stubble, at the most. Or you could go clean shaven. feel like a bit of stubble is nice for him.
How much is this going to cost me exactly?
Everything you've heard, completely true. As long as the job gets done, I don't care about the rest. I just hope I can help. How much is this going to cost me exactly?
You leave me no choice! As long as the job gets done, I don't care about the rest.
How much is this going to cost me exactly? How much is this going to cost me exactly? How much is this going to cost me exactly?
Can you say something else, please?
I just hope I can help. I just hope I can help.
As long as the job gets done, I don't care about the rest.
You leave me no choice! As long as the job gets done, I don't care about the rest. You leave me no choice! How much is this going to cost me exactly? You leave me no choice! As long as the job gets done, I don't care about the rest.
Let's try this one.
I just hope I can help.
No.
Everything you've heard? Completely true.
Everything you've heard? Completely true. Everything you've heard? Completely true.
Oh, that was just general. Jeez. I think everything here is okay. Yeesh, bushy. We can even do eyelashes. What's the inner one then? Eh. Nose. Oh, I see. Tattoos. Yeah, no tattoos. Makeup. Is this what we want?
How much is this going to cost me exactly?
I think it's okay. Name your character. Maxwell Trevelyan. And no. Let's see, we've had Aiden Kuzlin, David Hawk. Nate Trevelyan. Yeah, let's go with that. This is Nate Trevelyan. Okay. Of course, there had to be giant spiders.
Tell me why we shouldn't kill you now. The Conclave is destroyed. Everyone who attended is dead. Except for you.
What do you mean everyone's dead?
Explain this.
I can't.
What do you mean you can't?
I don't know what that is, or how it got there.
You're lying!
We need him, Cassandra.
I can't believe it. All those people... dead?
Do you remember what happened? How this began?
I remember running. Things were chasing me, and then... a woman.
A woman?
She reached out to me. But then...
Go to the Ford Camp, Liliana. I will take him to the rift.
What did happen?
It will be easier to show you. We call it the Breach. It's a massive rift into the world of demons that grows larger with each passing hour. It's not the only such rift, just the largest. All were caused by the explosion at the Conclave.
An explosion can do that?
This one did. Unless we act, the Breach may grow until it swallows the world. Each time the Breach expands, your mark spreads, and it is killing you. It may be the key to stopping this, but there isn't much time.
You say it may be the key. To doing what?
Closing the Breach. Whether that's possible is something we shall discover shortly. It is our only chance, however. And yours.
You still think I did this? To myself?
Not intentionally. Something clearly went wrong.
And if I'm not responsible?
Someone is, and you are our only suspect. You wish to prove your innocence? This is the only way.
I understand.
Then...
I'll do what I can, whatever it takes.
They have decided your guilt. They need it. The people of Haven mourn our most holy, divine Justinia, head of the Chantry. The Conclave was hers. It was a chance for peace between mages and Templars. She brought their leaders together. Now they are dead. We lash out like the sky, but we must think beyond ourselves, as she did. Until the breach is sealed. There will be a trial. I can promise no more. Come. It is not far.
Where are you taking me?
So I can already tell this has a lot of texture pop-ins. I don't know if this is the
Your mark
PlayStation
must
3
be
version or
tested
not.
for something smaller than the breach.
All the things in this world are
the gate. We are heading into the valley.
The eye on the compass indicates your quest destination. Access the quest map from the hero menu by pressing. As the Inquisition's power grows, it gains enemies in equal measure. It will take an iron will to bring Thetis back from the brink of chaos, but that is precisely what must be done. Anything in the Codex? Yes. What's a world worth saving without the colorful characters who call it home? This is everything essential about key players helping or hindering the Inquisition. Cassandra Pentagast. Lord Seeker Lucius. I'm fully aware of the intent behind your predecessor's declaration. Lord Seeker Lambert pried the Templars away from Chantry control and led them into an assault upon all mages, for reasons you both find justified. I, however, am uncertain when the Seekers of Truth went from guarding against injustice to perpetrating it. If you truly believe that is not the case, I suggest you look out a window at the chaos this war has caused, and ask yourself if Thetis will recover even if you are victorious. I remain at Divine Justinia's right hand. It will stay there even if you brand me traitor. I'm sorry, but there's too much at stake to swerve from the path we willingly followed at the Chantry's foundation. From a letter by Seeker Cassandra Pentagast to Lord Seeker Lucius Corin, Dragon 939. Divine Justinia V. Formerly the Reverend Mother Dorothea of Orlais, Divine Justinia V rose to power after the death of Divine Beatrix III in the year 934 of the Dragon Age. Little is known of Dorothea's background before she joined the Chantry as an initiate, but she proved to be a liberal and daring thinker, willing to take a former bard and lay sister, Liliana, as a close advisor. A headstrong devotion to her own agenda and rumored support of the Mage Rebellion earned her no small dislike from the powerful priests long used to controlling access to the divine. In the year 940 of the Dragon Age, Divine Justinia called a summit. Oh, so it's 940 now. Intending to negotiate a truce between the Mage Rebellion and the Templars splintered from the Chantry. The Divine Conclave was held at the Temple of Sacred Ashes, the most holy place in Thetis. Before a resolution could be reached, a cataclysmic explosion destroyed the Conclave, consumed the temple, rent the sky, and shattered the world's hope for peace. Divine Justinia V perished in the Temple of Sacred Ashes. The Chantry floundered, leaderless, in the wake of her death, and its fate grows increasingly uncertain. If order is not restored to Thetis, Justinia V might be remembered as the Chantry's final divine. Trevelyan, the Free Marcher. The Trevelyans are nobility from Ostwick, a city-state on the southern coast of the Free Marches. It's an old and distinguished family, in good standing among its peers, and with strong ties to the Chantry. Its youngest sons and daughters, those third or fourth born children with little chance of becoming heirs, often join the Chantry to become Templars or clerics. As the youngest child, Lord Nate Trevelyan was expected to follow suit, until the disaster at the Conclave. Nate was present at the Temple of Sacred Ashes as a representative of his family's interests, along with other distant relatives in the Chantry. He was the only survivor of the temple after the explosion. Rumors that the mysterious mark on his hand is a sign of the Maker's favor were spread by those who claimed they saw the Divine Prophet, Andraste herself, lead Lord Nate out of the Fade. An army is not only as good as its equipment. Fortunately, the landscape is filled with natural resources that can be crafted into items that will give troops an edge. Thetis is full of weird and wild creatures. Some are dangerous, some are harmless. It's important to be able to tell the difference. The organizations and peoples of Thetis are numerous and often draw hard lines to stand behind. Only fools ignore the history of the ground they walk and the people they meet. The Conclave. It has been a year of little more than chaos. Yes, the mages voted to dissolve the Circle of Magi, but I will point out, this vote came only after increased restrictions were placed on them following the unfortunate events in Kirkwall. What other choice did they have? Yes, the Templar Order abandoned their duties and elected to pursue the mages to bring them back in line, but after 1,000 years in which their sole role was the mages' keepers, what else could one expect? They envisioned the war over quickly, a single battle that would see the mages' resolve crumble, after which they would meekly return to confinement. that did not happen. This conflict could drag on forever, with advantage on neither side. Both Templars and mages see this, and thus they have agreed to come to the Conclave. This is our chance. Words need to be said which have not been said. A compromise must be reached because there is no other choice. I believe this with all my heart. I am not without fault in all this. Perhaps I pushed too hard for reform, or not hard enough. The Maker has seen fit to give me another chance. I will not squander it. The Temple of Sacred Ashes is where together we will make history, and with luck, we will be remembered kindly for it. From the Journals of Divine Justinian V, Dragon, 941. An organization as massive as the Inquisition has a way of piling up paper. Letters and notes may include clues or essential information, but they may just be worth reading in what little downtime can be sacrificed. Across much of Thedas, magic is a power that is feared or reviled, but it is often proved useful. The more magic is studied, the better off the people wielding or running from it. The Breach. What does it mean to pierce the veil, that which separates our world from the realm of dreams and demons? For the average man and woman, it is a frightening thought to consider just how fragile this separation actually is. The veil is not a physical curtain, nor a structure limited to a particular place. It is everywhere. It is in their home, in the streets where they walk, in farmers' fields, as well as remote mountain vales. At any moment, it could be torn to shreds, allowing demons and other horrors to flood into our world like water through a burst dam. Known lore tells us that small rifts can be sealed, but what about a large one? What if some catastrophic magical event created a rift so large and horrific, it weakened the integrity of the veils as a whole? Such a breach would threaten our entire world, turning concerns about occasional demonic intrusion into a charming anecdote compared to the monsters we would then face. If there's anything to be done, any reason we should look at magic with fear, it is for that possibility more than any other. From The True Threat of Magic by Lady Seeker Alandra Vale. Not all treasure is stumbled upon. Sometimes there's a map. Nations and regions, cities and villages, landmarks and empty expanses. There are many places in Thedas to call home. Stories and songs are windows into the mind of the people. An Inquisition has to start somewhere. Abilities marked as detonators to cause devastating combat effects. Taking damage over time, including burning, poison, bleeding. The target takes ongoing damage at a given time over a period. Shield, the target moves and attacks more slowly. Confuse, the target will attack its own allies. Knock down, the target lies prone on the ground and will require a few moments to get back on his feet. Panic, stops attacking and moves randomly around the battlefield. Shocked, the target magical resistance is reduced. Slowed, moves more slowly. Swarm, target is covered in bees. Sundered, target's armor is reduced. Taunted, the target preferably attacks the character who used the taunt. Weakened, the target attacks do less damage. Vulnerable, blah 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 blah. Okay, these are all the stats ailments and stuff. Let's just see how it goes. Okay, moving on. And did all this come from the...
The pulses are coming faster now. The larger the breach grows, the more rifts appear, the more demons we face.
How did I survive the blast?
They said you stepped out of a rift, then fell unconscious. They say a woman was in the rift behind you. No one knows who she was. Everything farther in the valley was laid waste, including the Temple of Sacred Ashes. I suppose you'll see soon enough.
Oh boy! Great, we got demons. Get back here.
It's over.
Drop your weapon. Now!
Easy.
All right. Have it your way.
Wait. I cannot protect you. And I cannot expect you to be defenseless. I should remember you agreed to come willingly.
Press L1 and select to consume a potion to heal a controlled character.
Maker knows what we will face.
Where are all your soldiers?
At the forward camp or fighting. We are on our own for now.
Inventory. What do we got? Ferelden longsword and a round wooden shield. Mercenary coat. Got a helmet now. It's better than nothing. Abilities consume mana and stamina for powerful combat effects. Most abilities require time to pass before reuse.
There! Watch out! If we flank them, we may gain the advantage.
Okie doke. Trying to remember, R2 is attack now. Got some more money.
Up on the hill. It attacks from a distance.
Okay, you take this guy, I'll take the little guy one. Oh, you get... Whoa! You good? wisp essence. I got the little guy. Dreamer eggs. Let's check our codex quickly. It has often been suggested that the only way for a demon to affect the world of the living is by possessing a living or once living body, but this is not always true. Indeed, a shade is one such creature, a demon in its true form that has adapted to affect the world around it. My hypothesis is this. We already know that many demons become confused when they pass through the veil into our world. They are unable to tell the living from the dead, the very static nature of our universe being confusing to a creature that is accustomed to a physicality defined entirely by emotion and memory. Most demons seek to seize immediately upon anything they perceive as life, jealously attempting to possess it. But what of those that do not? What of those that encounter no life, or fail to possess a body? What of those that are more cautious by their nature? These demons watch. They lurk. They envy. In time, such a demon will learn to drain energy from the psyche of those it encounters, just as it did in the Fade. Once it is drained enough, it has the power to manifest and will forever be known as a shade. Such a creature spurns possession. It instead floats as a shadow across its piece of land, preying upon the psyche of any who cross its path. Perhaps it believes itself still in the Fade. There is evidence to believe this is so. Like wisps, wraiths are sometimes thought to be the remains of spirits or demons that have been destroyed. They cannot shape the fate around themselves, nor are they capable of mimicking forms they see in the minds of dreamers as many weaker spirits do. Instead, they are the scavengers of the Fade, dwelling in the shadows of stronger beings, feeding on scraps of thought and emotion. From Beyond the Veil, Spirits and Demons by Enchanter Murdramel.
We're getting close to the rift. You can hear the fighting.
Who's fighting?
You'll see soon. We must help them.
Okay. Let's get up here then. Over here? Nope. Okay.
Quickly! Before more come through! What did you do?
I did nothing. The credit is yours.
I closed that thing? How?
Whatever magic opened the breach in the sky also placed that mark upon your hand. I theorized the mark might be able to close the rifts that have opened in the breach's wake. And it seems I was correct.
Meaning it could also close the breach itself.
Possibly. It seems you hold the key to our salvation.
Good to know. Here I thought we'd be ass-deep in demons forever. Varric Tethras, rogue, storyteller, and occasionally unwelcome tag-along.
Are you with the Chantry, or...?
Was that a serious question?
Technically, I'm a prisoner, just like you.
I brought you here to tell your story to the Divine. Clearly, that is no longer necessary.
Yet, here I am. Lucky for you, considering current events.
It's good to meet you, Varric.
You may reconsider that stance in time.
Oh, I'm sure we'll become great friends in the valley, Chuckles.
Absolutely not. Your help is appreciated, Varric, but...
Have you been in the valley lately, Seeker? Your soldiers aren't in control anymore. You need me.
Ugh.
My name is Solus, if there are to be introductions. I am pleased to see you still live.
He means I kept that mark from killing you while you slept.
You seem to know a great deal about it all.
Solus is an apostate, well-versed in such matters.
Technically, all mages are now apostates, Cassandra. My travels have allowed me to learn much of the Fade, far beyond the experience of any Circle mage. I came to offer whatever help I can give with the breach. If it is not closed, we are all doomed regardless of origin.
That's a commendable attitude.
Merely a sensible one. Although sense appears to be in short supply right now. Cassandra, you should know, the magic involved here is unlike any I've seen. Your prisoner is no mage. Indeed, I find it difficult to imagine any mage having such power.
Understood. We must get to the forward camp quickly.
Well... Bianca's excited.
Time to read up on some characters. Solus. Cassandra. I understand our first order of business must be to investigate this bizarre breach in the sky and protect people from the demons descending. While my search continues, I wish to draw your attention to a new arrival at our camp, an elven apostate calling himself Solus. Solus entered the camp voluntarily, surrendering his staff to Chantry forces without protest. He is not Dalish and says that he has never been part of the Circle, claiming instead to have studied magic peacefully on his own, particularly magic tied to the Fade. While I suspect he will be reluctant to accept the help of an apostate, Solus did come to us freely. Witnesses saw him in a nearby village at the time of the blast, so he was likely not responsible for what happened at the Conclave. However, he has described the effects of the breach in enough detail to convince me that he knows more about the Fade than anyone else present. Solus has requested permission to study the lone survivor in one of the smaller rifts, in hopes of finding a way to seal the breach. He has correctly guessed that it is growing, and believes it will destroy the entire world unless we find a way to stop it. Unless you object, I will allow him his studies, under proper observation, of course. Liliana. There's power in stories. That's all history is. The best tales. The ones that last. Might as well be mine. Varric Tethras of the Dwarven Merchants Guild of Kirkwall is famous, or infamous, for two things. His books, and his association with the Champion of Kirkwall. After the Templars and Circles broke away from the Chantry, Divine Justinian V sent her agents to Kirkwall, where the roots of the war began, in search of answers. The Champion had long since disappeared, but Varric had written a book on his friend's involvement in the destruction of the Kirkwall Chantry, and the left and right hands of the Divine located him with surprising ease. They captured and interrogated him, then brought him to the Conclave to give his testimony to the Divine in person, but fate decreed that he would never meet her.
Wait, down the bank. The road ahead is blocked.
We must move quickly.
Hold on. Better than what I have. Money. We have a jump button. We have a jump button. Jump. 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 Jump.
Demons ahead.
Glad you brought me now, Seeker?
Gathering herbs and minerals out in the wild and use them to craft upgrades to your gear and potions. Explore and find as many varieties as you can. Okay, let's go. We got demons to fight. On tactical mode, use L to scan the battlefield, use R3 to cycle through targets, switch control between the party members and press X to issue orders. Oh, I see. Here, let's get rid of this guy. Thank you. Get the little ones. Is that it? Anything up here? Blood Lotus. Do not try to get out of this. We were told you were the best. That's why you were contracted. Was it not you who obtained the 200 white blooming rose bushes for the Empress's winter ball last year? The Comtesse has been infinitely patient till now, but she doesn't understand why it's so hard to fill the garden pool. She wants no more excuses. And no, she will not compromise with the dawn lotuses. They're white. The flowers have to match the silk canopies. It is crucial. Dark purple, dark red. Do not try to frame this as a safety issue. The guests will be perfectly safe. Why, if they experience any hallucinations from the concentration of lotus essence in the air, I'm certain it will only make the evening more thrilling. I don't care if you have to send someone to some Ferelden peat bog to get it all. Just do it. A note from Chamberlain Lauren to Grand Gardener Umbert Valclane over the decorations for Comtesse Darnay's summer garden house party. According to gossip in Val Royeaux, the Chamberlain did succeed in convincing Grand Gardener Valclane to provide 420 lotus plants. The party was considered by most to be a roaring success, even though the evening concluded with at least 12 guests asleep on the lawn, 3 in the pool, and one lady losing several teeth trying to take a bite out of a marble statue of the Comtesse's father, which she was convinced was made of cake. Yeesh. Hop, 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 hop away. Elf root was first used by the elves of Arlathan, hence the name. The root gave their medicines particular efficiency, so when the Imperium conquered the elves, the Magisters adopted its use and its popularity spread to all corners of the Empire. Elf root is a hardy plant with large green leaves that grows wild in many places. It's so common that it tends to show up in most gardens and fields, almost like a weed. Unlike a weed, however, most people appreciate having access to the wonderful little plant. The roots can be used with very little preparation. Rubbing some of the juice on a wound, for example, will speed up healing and numb pain. And chewing on a slice of root treats minor ailments like indigestion, flatulence, and hoarse throats. There are several varieties, but the most useful for herbalists are the bitter, gossamer, and royal elf roots. And except from the Botanical Compendium by Inez Arancia, botanist. Hi guys. Okay, let's keep moving.
So, are you innocent?
I don't remember what happened.
That'll get you every time. Should have spun a story.
That's what you would have done.
It's more believable and less prone to result in premature execution.
Got more demons. Not done yet.
I hope Liliana made it through all this.
She's resourceful, Seeker.
We will see for ourselves at the forward camp. We're almost there.
Fade rifts are caused by weaknesses in the veil. Disrupting a rift or mark will cause damage to nearby demons. When all are dead, close the rift to... Of course, they're all down here.
Hurry! Use the mark!
Your character is leveled up. This increases your health and stats automatically and awards you 1 ability point to use. Press triangle to open the hero menu and select character record. Experts in this style are still on their feet after punishment that would kill their allies. They use their shield to protect themselves and stagger their enemies. Two-handed, experts in this style crush their enemies with massive blows that can break any guard, shatter any armor, and destroy any opponent. These cunning warriors control the battlefield and everyone on it. They bolster their allies, hamper their enemies, and take advantage of any sign of weakness. These stalwart warriors protect their allies by making themselves the biggest target on the battlefield. When enemies take the bait, vanguards pick them apart with brutal precision. Each ability tree contains active abilities, upgrades, and passive abilities. Active have diamond-shaped icons. They can be mapped to your hotbar and then used in combat. Upgrades are attached to an ability and make it stronger. When you have ability points available, press X to learn the highlighted ability or upgrade. You can only learn abilities connected to the roots of the ability tree or connected to an ability you've already learned. You do more damage with Payback Strike, and if you've recently taken damage, you also stun taunted enemies. Your expertise with the shield protects you against ranged attacks from the front.
The rift is gone. Open the gate.
Right away, Lady Cassandra.
We're clear for the moment. Well done.
Whatever that thing on your hand is, it's useful.
My codex update. Each ability tree, blah 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 blah. Okay. Just tutorial. And I got a trophy. Hello.
You have already caused enough trouble without resorting to this exercise in future.
I have caused trouble.
You, Cassandra, the Most Holy, haven't you all done enough already?
You are not in command here.
Enough! I will not have it! Ah, here they come.
You made it. Chancellor Roderick, this is...
I know who he is. As Grand Chancellor of the Chantry, I hereby order you to take this criminal to Val Royeaux to face execution.
Order me? You are a glorified clerk. A bureaucrat.
And you are a thug, but a thug who supposedly serves the Chantry.
We serve the Most Holy, Chancellor. As you well know.
Justinia is dead! We must elect a replacement and obey her orders on the matter.
Isn't closing the breach the more pressing issue?
You brought this on us in the first place! Call a retreat, Seeker. Our position here is hopeless.
We can stop this before it's too late.
How? You won't survive long enough to reach the temple, even with all your soldiers.
We must get to the temple. It's the quickest route.
But not the safest. Our forces can charge as a distraction while we go through the mountains.
We lost contact with an entire squad on that path. It's too risky.
Listen to me. Abandon this now, before more lives are lost.
How do you think we should proceed?
Now you're asking me what I think.
You have the mark?
And you are the one we must keep alive. Since we cannot agree on our own...
Careful sustained assault soldiers will stand with you to ensure arrival. Scouts in the past may be lost. Fast but indirect. Soldiers will act as distraction elsewhere. The problem will be addressed sooner, but there may be casualties. Let's go with the mountain pass.
Use the mountain path. Work together. You all know what's at stake.
Liliana, bring everyone left in the valley. Everyone.
On your head be the consequences, Seeker.
Fire staff for Solus. Ah, we got high.
The tunnel should be just ahead. The path to the temple lies just beyond it.
What manner of tunnel is this? A mine?
Part of an old mining complex. These mountains are full of such paths.
And your missing soldiers are in there somewhere?
Along with whatever has detained them.
We shall see soon enough.
And they call it a mine. A mine. We got people in here. I got the little guy. Everybody good? Nothing? Seriously, nothing here? Oh, there's something. What do we got? Nugskin. Money! We got company. Ram leather.
Guess we found the soldiers.
That cannot be all of them.
So the others could be holed up ahead.
Our priority must be the breach. Unless we seal it soon, no one is safe.
I'm leaving that to the man with the glowing hand.
Keep your eyes peeled for any survivors then. Got a little rift up here.
Lady Cassandra! Lieutenant, you're alive.
Just barely.
What the heck is that?
sealed, as before. You are becoming quite proficient at this.
Let's hope it works on the big one.
Thank the Maker you finally arrived, Lady Cassandra. I don't think we could have held out much longer.
Thank our prisoner, Lieutenant. He insisted we come this way.
The prisoner? Then you...
It was worth saving you, if we could.
Then you have my sincere gratitude.
The way into the valley behind us is clear for the moment. Go, while you still can.
At once. Quickly, let's move!
The path ahead appears to be clear of demons as well.
Let's hurry before that changes.
First, let me check to see if we have any loot. Like right here.
Down the ladder. That's the way to the temple.
Requires level 6. So none of us can use it. Fine. I see how it is. Whoop, whoop. Whee! Come on, Varric. Yep. I'm okay.
So, holes in the Fade don't just accidentally happen, right?
If enough magic is brought to bear, it is possible.
But there are easier ways to make things explode.
That is true.
We will consider how this happened once the immediate danger is past.
Man, look at this.
Temple of Sacred Ashes.
What's left of it?
That is where you walked out of the Fade, and our soldiers found you. They say a woman was in the rift behind you. No one knows who she was.
There are some who claim men have no place in the Chantry beyond the lowest rank of scholarly brothers and those who take their place among the Templars. It's not true. This is an organization spanning 7 nations, from the smallest village Chantry to the Grand Cathedral in Val Royeaux. It takes more than sermons to keep it alive. There's an invisible army at work ensuring meals are delivered, repairs are made, and faithful attended to, and much of it done by Chantry brothers like myself. The position of High Chancellor places a man beside the Most Holy. I control who is permitted audience, handle her correspondence, deliver her word to Thetis, and serve as her advisor on matters which may be mundane but cannot be disregarded. If I have influence, let it be said that it is something I use sparingly, if at all. This is a task to which I devote myself with solemnity. I and my fellows bear a burden so that others are free to guide the spirits of Thetis unencumbered. Except from a letter by High Chancellor Roderick, a Signon, 938 Dragon. According to legend, the sacred ashes of Andraste were carried out by the Imperium by Havard, disciple of Our Lady. Wounded by Tevinter's soldiers when he tried to stop Andraste's capture, Havard was too late in coming to Minrathous to stop the execution. All he found were her ashes, left out in the elements. As soon as Havard touched them, Andraste appeared in a vision. "Rise," she said, "Aegis of the Faith. The Maker shall never forget you as so long as I remember." The Aegis of the Faith, so named by our prophet herself, stood at her word and found his wounds healed and his spirit renewed. He gathered the ashes of Andraste and returned them to the lands of the Alamari tribes, which are now Ferelden. It said that Andraste's song led him to a holy site, where Havard and his followers built a temple to house her remains. There the legend ends. For centuries, men searched for the Temple of Sacred Ashes, finding only rumors and tall tales. Chantry scholars concluded that there was no temple. There were no sacred ashes. It was all a myth, allegory intended to inspire and feed the fire of faith. Then the hero of Ferelden came. Seeking to cure a dying Arl with the miraculous powers of the ashes, the hero, with the help of renowned scholar Brother Ferdinand Genetivi, traced the steps of the ancients and came to a remote ruin, high in the Frostback Mountains. There, the urn of sacred ashes waited, as the legend said it would. After the triumph of the righteous over the Fifth Blight, the temple's discovery was shared with the world. Much to our dismay, however, by the time our soldiers arrived at the temple, the urn had disappeared. To this day, we do not know who took them or why. All that is certain is that it was the Maker's will. The hero of Ferelden did not share the discovery with the world, and Brother Genetivi, whose research made it possible, had disappeared without a trace. Truth, however, will always out, and rumors circulated about the cause of Arl Eamon Gwerin's miraculous recovery. Agents of the Chantry investigated claims about the Urn of Sacred Ashes, and were eventually led, as the hero had been led, to the temple. By the time our soldiers reached it, however, the urn was nowhere to be found. Though the ashes were gone, the temple itself stood, and it has since become a source of hope for the faithful. If the Grand Cathedral is the beating heart of our Chantry, then the Temple of Sacred Ashes is her soul. Here, we honor the Chantry's past, even as we forge bravely into our future. From a lecture delivered by Chantry scholar Mother Clothfield at the University of Orlais in 938 Dragon. Whoa. Petrified people. Scout hat. Elf, dwarf, or human. Here, Cassandra. Nope, nope. Give me that. There.
You're here. Thank the Maker.
Liliana, have your men take up positions around the temple. This is your chance to end this. Are you ready?
try, but I don't know if I can reach that, much less close it.
No. This rift was the first, and it is the key. Seal it, and perhaps we seal the breach.
Then let's find a way down. And be careful.
Okay. Varric, what are you doing back there?
Now is the hour of our victory. Bring forth the sacrifice.
What are we hearing?
At a guess, the person who created the breach.
Varric, you should take a potion. Yeah, texture pop in.
You know this stuff is red lyrium, Seeker.
I see it, Varric.
But what's it doing here?
Magic could have drawn on lyrium beneath the temple, corrupted it.
It's evil. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
To answer your question, my lord, yes, I have indeed heard of this red lyrium of which you speak. A single piece of it surfaced in the eastern city of Kirkwall, and its influence alone was nearly enough to cause the city's destruction. As near as we can determine, it is regular lyrium that has been somehow corrupted. Those who have touched red lyrium, or even come near it, report that it sings to them, like whispers in the mind that slowly drive them mad. We do not know, however, what might stem from extended contact with red lyrium. Madness, surely, but would there be a physical corruption as well? What would happen if a mage or a Templar used red lyrium as they used regular lyrium? Far more disturbing is the fact that lyrium could be corrupted at all. Treat any red lyrium you encounter as if it were poison. Do not go near it. Do not attempt to destroy it. And most importantly, do not attempt to use it. From a partially burned letter by an unknown writer, affixed with a Grey Warden seal. Ooh.
Keep the sacrifice still.
Someone help me! That is Divine Justinia's voice.
Everybody ready? Loading time. Do 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 do.
What's going on here?
That was your voice. Most Holy called out to you, but...
What's going on here?
Run when you can! Want them!
We have an intruder. Kill him now.
her there? Who attacked? And the Divine, is she... Was this vision true? What are we seeing?
I don't remember.
Echoes of what happened here. The fade bleeds into this place. This rift is not sealed, but it is closed, albeit temporarily. I believe that with the mark, the rift can be opened, and then sealed properly and safely. However, opening the rift will likely attract attention from the other side.
That means demons! Stand ready!
Oh great, it's a pride demon.
Now! We must strip its defenses. Wear it down.
Working on it.
The demon is vulnerable. Now!
Come on. Disrupt. Ooh, Varric. I'm sorry.
More coming through the rift.
Busy right now. What? What's the button? L1, that's it. Dang it. Sorry, Varric, you're kind of in a bad spot. Get up, little buddy. Oh, good, you healed. Can't see what's going on. Back up, back up, back up. Move it. Ow. Dang it. Leave me alone. Oh my gosh. There we go. Almost got him.
Now! Seal the rift!
The Wrath of Heaven. The Codex stores lore, tutorials, and information on your foes. Access it from the Hero menu. Claiming areas landmarks to make the Inquisition more knowledgeable of the local area. Your party can be healed with potions or by resting at Inquisition camps. Healing potions can be restocked at supply caches and camps. Okay. Loading time. Hurry up and load so I can get back to playing my game.
Oh! I didn't know you were awake, I swear.
Don't worry about it,
I beg your forgiveness and your blessing. I am but a humble servant. You're back in Haven, my lord. They say you saved us. The breach stopped growing, just like the mark on your hand. It's all anyone has talked about for the last 3 days.
Then the danger is over.
The breach is still in the sky, but that's what they say. I'm certain Lady Cassandra would want to know you've wakened. She said, at once.
And where is she?
In the Chantry, with the Lord Chancellor. At once, she said.
Huh. Okay. Elf root. The most powerful demons yet encountered are the Pride demons, perhaps because they, among all their kind, most resemble men, as clever and manipulative as the Desire demon, with a penchant for cruel irony that is almost human. While the demons of Desire largely engage in the bravery of mortals, Pride will use mortals' own best nature against them. Clever men outwit themselves, strong men crush themselves, humble men forget themselves, jealous men fear themselves. They turn corruption and ruin into an art. From Beyond the Veil, Spirits and Demons by Enchanter Murdromel. I would like to speak to you of Haven, the village in the Frostbacks close to the Temple of Sacred Ashes. We are all aware of its past. It was home to the Disciples of Andraste, as they call themselves. Descended from the people who built the temple itself, they had strayed, over years of isolation, from their once noble roots to become dragon worshippers. After their hero Ferelden discovered the Temple of Sacred Ashes, which the disciples guarded jealously, what remained of the cult moved on, and Haven was abandoned to the ice and the snow. I passed through Haven on my pilgrimage to see the Temple of Sacred Ashes. There was a storm, and I took shelter in the halls of Haven's chantry. Though they were dusty from neglect, the walls of that lonely place were strong and shielded me from the biting winds. Peace came upon me, and my eyes were opened to Haven's incredible beauty. It could not be overcome by the pain and the horror of the past. It could not be masked by decay and disuse. It would not be forgotten. Haven is precious to Orlais, to the Chantry, and to the Sunburst throne for its historical and religious significance. It is my will that Haven be restored, rededicated to the service of Andraste, and preserved for the ages. Let it be a sanctuary for the pilgrims who seek out the Temple of Sacred Ashes. May they rest here beneath the cold, bright skies. May the glory of the Maker be revealed to them, as they gaze upon the great peaks that are the work of his hand. Now and forevermore, let this be a haven for the faithful. From a speech by Divine Justinian V and 935 Dragon. Vain hope. Someone better at this than me take over before the survivor expires. Notes in case. Day 1. Clammy. Shallow breathing. Pulse over fast. Now responsive. Pupils dilated. Mage says his scarring mark is thrumming with unknown magic. Wish we could station a Templar in here just in case. That was under... Never mind. Hello.
I believe Seeker Cassandra would like to speak with you.
Okay. Haven looks a lot different. Randy Dowager Quarterly, a well-worn quarterly missive of suspect virtue. The Randy Dowager welcomes the cool of autumn with the fall of another, the collected dreams of desire being the confessions of an apprentice and training more furrowing than harrowing, forbidden dalliances at their most spirited. The Randy Dowager, exhibitions for the noble of thought but spry of step. The lady herself says, enchanting. One supports the circles, if only because... Closed doors offer the imagination more. 3 scarves flooded in shock out of 5. What's in here? Reinforced shield and defender armor.
I believe Lady Cassandra wanted to speak with you.
Okay. I see what you're trying to tell me. I just want to explore a bit.
Not taking orders right now. Got a problem with it? Bring it up with Cassandra.
Okay. Oh yeah, jump. Patient observation day 3. Less thrashing, some response to stimulus. Vitals seem solid. 2 attempts so far by locals to break into the chantry to kill my patient. All this work to save his life, and will they just execute him? Will inform Lady Cassandra I expect him to wake before the morn. Canine leather. think that's all we can see for now. Hello?
Have you gone completely mad? He should be taken to Valroyo immediately, to be tried by whomever becomes divine.
I do not believe he is guilty.
The prisoner failed, Seeker. The breach is still in the sky. For all you know, he intended it this way.
I do not believe that.
That is not for you to decide. Your duty is to serve the Chantry.
My duty is to serve the principles on which the Chantry was founded, Chancellor, as is yours.
Knock, knock. Can I come in?
Chain him! I want him prepared for travel to the capital for trial.
Disregard that and leave us.
You walk a dangerous line, Seeker.
The breach is stable, but it is still a threat. I will not ignore it.
I did everything I could to close the breach. It almost killed me.
Yet you live. A convenient result insofar as you're concerned.
Have a care, Chancellor. The breach is not the only threat we face.
Someone was behind the explosion at the Conclave. Someone most holy did not expect. Perhaps they died with the others, or have allies who yet live.
I am a suspect?
You, and many others.
But not the prisoner.
I heard the voices in the temple. The Divine called to him for help.
So his survival, that thing on his hand, all a coincidence?
Providence. The Maker sent him to us in our darkest hour.
You've changed your mind about me, clearly.
I was wrong. Perhaps I still am. I will not, however, pretend you were not exactly what we needed when we needed it.
The breach remains, and your mark is still our only hope of closing it.
This is not for you to decide.
You know what this is, Chancellor. A writ from the Divine, granting us the authority to act. As of this moment, I declare the Inquisition reborn. We will close the breach, we will find those responsible, and we will restore order with or without your approval.
This is the Divine's directive. Rebuild the Inquisition of old. Find those who will stand against the chaos. We aren't ready. We have no leader, no numbers. And now, no Chantry support.
But we have no choice. We must act now, with you at our side.
What is the Inquisition of old, exactly?
It preceded the Chantry. People who banded together to restore order in a world gone mad.
After, they laid down their banner and formed the Templar Order, but the Templars have lost their way. We need those who can do what must be done, united under a single banner once more.
But aren't you still part of the Chantry?
Is that what you see?
The Chantry will take time to find a new Divine. And then it will wait for her direction.
But we cannot wait. So many Grand Clerics died at the Conclave. No, we are on our own. Perhaps forever.
You're trying to start a holy war.
We are already at war. You are already involved. Its mark is upon you. As to whether the war is holy, that depends on what we discover.
What if I refuse?
You can go if you wish.
You should know that while some believe you chosen, many still think you guilty. The Inquisition can only protect you if you are with us.
We can also help you.
It will not be easy if you stay, but you cannot pretend this has not changed you.
If you're truly trying to restore order...
That is the plan.
Help us fix this before it's too late.
Sound effects seemed a bit off in that, by like a split second or so. Hey, we got some new armor. Anything new in the Codex? The birth of the Chantry took place more than 9 ages ago. The mists of the time have obscured once well-known facts. It's commonly believed the Chantry alone created the Templars and the Circle of Magi. Few recall there was ever an Inquisition. Those who do believe it predated the Chantry, hunting cultists and mages in a reign of terror ending only upon its transformation into the Templar Order. This is not quite the truth. One must keep in mind the state of Thetis prior to the Chantry's creation. A world where the only source of order, the Tevinter Imperium, had fallen apart. People blame magic for the death of Andraste, the Blight, the terror they saw every day. And not without reason. Abominations and demons rampaged the countryside. No one was safe. Disparate groups of men and women initially formed the Seekers of Truth, determined to re-establish order because no one else would do what was necessary. The truth they sought, the question they tried to answer, was how to restore sanity in a world gone mad. Was there a reign of terror? Perhaps. Evidence suggests they were as vigilant as their protection of mages as they were of regular people. When they intervened, they convened an ad hoc trial to determine the guilty party. This even application of justice led to their poor reputation. The Seekers came down against every group at one time or another, their Inquisition gaining notoriety for being on no one's side but their own. They considered themselves good people, however, followers of the Maker's true commandments. This was never more evident than when they laid down their banner in support of the fledgling chantry. They believed with all their heart that the Templar Order was the answer a desperate Thetis needed in a terrible time. Ultimately, the Inquisition was composed of independent idealists, not chantry zealots. That is the truth. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Jenna TV. Hello.
Look who's back from the dead. Again. I don't recall meeting you before.
I'd be surprised if you did. You weren't particularly coherent. Someone had to patch you up after you staggered out of making those wear, though. So, you're welcome.
I didn't realize. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you can pay me back by fixing the world. Name's Adan. I'm in charge of keeping our little band here stocked with potions and elixirs. Not that Seeker Pentagast seems to care whether we've got the supplies to actually do that.
For a healer, you don't seem particularly nurturing.
I'm not a healer. I'm an alchemist who's forced to play Mother Hen. You want something to burst into flame on contact with the air? Done. Gladly. Patching up wounded soldiers is a waste of my time and talents. But there are a few around who can help.
How are your people holding up?
There's no shortage of work. That's for damn sure.
Is there anything I can do to help out?
We're fine as far as raw labor goes. You've more important things to do than tend to me. I only wish I'd been able to find Master Tajin's notes. Old bastard was working on something special. He died at the Conclave, and his notes weren't here. Been too busy dealing with the wounded to look for them.
Farewell.
We got a quest. Something. Pulse normal, breathing normal, still unresponsive, careful drop feed of prep, elf root extract to hasten his recovery. A lot of thrashing, mutters about too many eyes, something about the gray. Encouraging? Even in these trying times, good help is not so hard to find. Explore Haven and meet some of the Inquisition's crafting masters. Give Menave an item to research. Visit a potion loadout station. Find Tegan's notes. Have you ever heard the story of King Bedwer? Bedwer, like most kings, was a man of great pride, who expected nothing but complete loyalty from his subjects. He believed the best way to achieve this was through fear. After all, those who feared him would never cross him or question his rule. Most importantly, those who feared him would always seek to please him. Bedwer cultivated fear in his subordinates through the gleeful and unrestrained use of a contraption referred to as the Maiden. The Maiden was a hinged iron casket, as high and wide and deep as a man, with vicious spikes within, meant to pierce through the poor soul locked into it. Bedwer's Maiden was a prized possession, and stood in a place of honor in his throne room, often with a screaming victim inside it. Political rivals, suspected assassins, treasonous ministers, the Maiden consumed them all. But as time passed, more people were given to the Maiden for increasingly trivial offenses. The cook for oversalting the king's food, the page boy for dropping his sword. The Maiden cast a pall over the kingdom, and its people prayed for deliverance from their cruel king. Then one day, a strange woman rode into the city. She called herself Ember, and was an emissary from a far-off land. Her leaders had heard, she said, of Bedwer's wisdom and authority, and she sought the king's counsel. The thought that he had earned the adulation of brother kings across the sea made Bedwer swell with pride, and he granted Ember an audience. They dined and danced, and through it all, Ember flattered and fawned on the king. At the end of the night, Ember asked to see the maiden, the infamous device that had given Bedwer his power. The king, giddy with praise, proudly presented Ember with the empty contraption. Ember looked at the maiden, sighed with disappointment, and said, "That does not look terrifying at all. I should have imagined the spikes to be much sharper." Bedwer grew red at her comment and replied, "The spikes are sharp enough. Look at the blood that still clings to them." "But it is so small," said Ember. "Are only children and women its victims?" Bedwer grew redder still and replied, "Of course not. The maiden has devoured many men." Ember shook her head and said to the king, "I do not believe it. Surely no warrior could fear this thing. A man like yourself, tall and muscled, would not fit within." The king laughed and saw a way to prove the merit of the maiden to Ember. "I will show you how easy a man like myself could fit," he said, and with that, he stepped into the device. But Ember was waiting, and no sooner had Bedwer squeezed himself into the iron casket that Ember slammed it shut on him. Ember took the maiden, with the screaming Bedwer inside, through the castle and down into the city, and the people, finally free from the king's tyranny, cheered and danced to the singing that echoed throughout the streets, until Bedwer was dead and it finally stopped. A tale often told in the Singing Maiden Tavern. Drakestone. Hello, Varric.
So, now that Cassandra's out of earshot, are you holding up all right? I mean, you go from being the most wanted criminal in Thedas to joining the armies of the faithful. Most people would have spread that out over more than one day.
I'm just glad I'm still standing after all that.
I still can't believe you survived Cassandra. You're lucky you were out cold for most of her frothing rage. For days now, we've been staring at the breach, watching demons and maker knows what fall out of it. Bad for morale would be an understatement. I still can't believe anyone was in there and lived.
If it was that bad, why did you stay? Cassandra said you were free to go.
I like to think I'm as selfish and irresponsible as the next guy, but this... Thousands of people died on that mountain. I was almost one of them. And now there's a hole in the sky. Even I can't walk away and just leave that to sort itself out.
It's pure luck that I escaped.
Good luck or bad? You might want to consider running at the first opportunity. I've written enough tragedies to recognize where this is going. Heroes are everywhere. I've seen that. But the hole in the sky... that's beyond heroes. We're going to need a miracle. Need something?
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a few questions.
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
Where are the rest of Hawk's associates now?
Meryl decided to look after the elves left homeless by the fighting. She's done a pretty good job of keeping them away from the mages and Templars, so far. I guess she has plenty of practice avoiding stupid human battles with her old Dalish clan. Fenris has kept himself busy, hunting down the Tevinter slavers who came south to prey on the refugees. I'm not sure exactly where he is at the moment. You can usually follow the trail of corpses, though. Isabella went back to the raiders. She's calling herself an admiral now. I don't know if she's actually in charge or just has a really big hat. Might be the same thing, honestly. Hawk's little brother was off on some warden business near the Anderfell's border last I knew. Aveline is still guard captain. I'm pretty sure Kirkwall would fall into the sea if she quit her job. Need something?
I've read your Tale of the Champion, and I have a...
That's a pretty common reaction. Go ahead.
What happened to the mage who destroyed the Kirkwall Chantry? The book never said.
He fled Kirkwall with the mages from the Circle. Stayed with them a lot, but he had to move on. Somehow a lot of mages blamed him for making them live as fugitives. I don't know where he is now, and I don't want to know.
There is no way Hawk really could have killed the Arishok. It would have started a war with the Qunari.
I was told later that the Qunari disavowed his actions. Apparently, the Arashok didn't get permission before he attacked Kirkwall, and the Qun didn't want another exalted march. When they finally sent a ship to haul the wrecked dreadnought away, they just said, "We will never speak of this again." As far as I can tell, that's the Qun's version of an apology.
In the book, you say that first enchanter Orsino turned himself into a giant monster made of corpses. How? Why?
Do I look like an expert on magical weirdness to you? Well, I can't tell you how. For the why, all I can say is he was desperate.
Carry on.
Did I turn on subtitles?
Need something?
The red lyrium we found at the temple seemed to upset you.
My brother Bartrand and I sort of discovered red lyrium during an expedition in the Deep Roads. We located an ancient thaig, so old it barely looked dwarven. There was this idol there made of it. Bartrand brought it back to the surface, and, well, everything's gone downhill from there.
So what is it? Just another kind of lyrium?
The red stuff is lyrium like a dragon is a lizard. It's not just a different color. It has a whole host of weirdness all its own. I've written to every mining cast house in Orzammar. No one's seen this stuff before or knows where it came from.
What makes it special?
Regular lyrium can mess you up pretty badly, but you have to ingest it for that to happen. Red lyrium messes with your mind when you're just near the stuff. You hear singing, get violent, paranoid, and then it does creepy shit. Makes things float, brings statues to life. It also turned Kirkwall's Knight Commander to lyrium. Everyone's been kept at least 100 paces from it since.
How did the red lyrium get in the Temple of Sacred Ashes?
I don't know. So as far as I knew, the only piece to make it to the surface was destroyed. And the location of the thaig it came from is a secret. Did someone find more of it in the Deep Roads? That's not a cheery thought.
I think that's enough on red lyrium.
Yeah, not really my favorite subject. Need something?
Can I ask you something, Varric?
You want to talk about me? I'm flattered. Also inclined toward extravagant lies.
How do you and Cassandra know each other?
You heard about the Kirkwall Chantry being destroyed? The guy responsible used to be a friend of mine. The Seeker had questions about that, and I had answers.
You from Ferelden? Orlais?
Free Marches, born and raised in Kirkwall. And despite whatever you've heard, no, Kirkwall's not that bad.
I'm not clear on your line of work. You're a merchant?
I'm a businessman. My family has a seat in the Dwarven Merchants Guild. Merchants buy and sell goods. Businessmen buy and sell stores. In my spare time, I manage a spy network, and occasionally, I write books.
If you've run a spy network, why is Liliana our spy master?
To be honest with you, she's just a better spy master. The truly great ones can keep their distance. They don't get attached to their people. Me, I always wind up babysitting my informants and worrying about their families. We're in better hands with her.
You're an author? What kind of books have you written?
I've tried my hands at a few genres. My crime serials are my most popular. Hard in Hightown, guards breaking the rules to get things done. The Tale of the Champion is the most famous thing I've written, or infamous maybe. I started a romance serial once, Swords and Shields, but to be honest, I don't have a knack for romances. Most of my stories end in tragedy. Probably that says something unfortunate about me personally.
What sort of shops do you own?
Actually, we don't own shops. That was just an example. Mostly we invest in moneylenders. Auction houses, a few mercenary companies, a couple of smithies. I think we own half a beet plantation in Ravane somewhere. Most of that's my brother's doing. Bartrand had business sense. Not much tact, but loads of business sense.
Where did you get that crossbow? I've never seen one like it.
Bianca? She's one of a kind. I won her from Paragon Smith Bronca in a game of Wicked Grace. She was such a sore loser. Ran off to the deep roads in a huff, and that was the last anyone saw of her.
Who is she named for?
I can't tell you.
And the reason for that is?
Complicated. It's the one story I'll never tell. We just have to leave it at that.
Thanks, Varric.
No problem.
No, my lord, I don't know where the other nobles are. I suggest you ask Ambassador Montillier. Oh, you're him. Thren, Inquisition Quartermaster. I'm doing what I can to supply this mess. If you find what I need to fill one of my requisitions, I'd appreciate you bringing it in.
What do you do here?
I make sure the Inquisition troops have food in their bellies and iron in their hands. Both are important. Lots of people expecting us to be heroes, marching all day to fight the demons. Turns out heroes need to dig latrines just like everyone else.
How does someone end up as quartermaster for the Inquisition?
I served for Eldon under Ten Loghain MacTier. Best commanding officer this world has ever seen. After they all turned on him at Denerim, though, there wasn't much use for people who held that opinion. Queen Honora offered my services to the Inquisition. It was a kindness. She knew I supported her father and got me away from the political garbage.
With that attitude, I can't imagine how you made enemies in Denerim.
People just don't want to hear the truth. I was at Ostagar, and I know what really happened. King Cailan overextended his position, and the Grey Wardens were too late lighting the signal. Following the original plan would have gotten everyone killed. Ten Loghain made the right decision. I apologize. Sister Liliana told me I shouldn't talk about this. Just forget it.
What did you mean when you mentioned requisitions?
I'm making this Inquisition run with what we have, but we're not a real army. We're stretched thin on materials, so I've put up a requisition list for anything that could help our people. Here, take a look. You find some iron and a good logging site, maybe Harriet can get our troops better weapons.
If I have material for a special order, do I bring it to you?
Just take it over there. One of my boys will take the materials or jot down what you found.
Farewell.
Make her go with you.
While some of my contemporaries dispute whether the Fifth Blight was a true blight or merely a large darkspawn in resurgence, historians agree that it began in the swamps of the Kakari Wilds on the southeastern border of Ferelden in the year 930 Dragon. King Cailan Theron was swift in responding to the threat, gathering the royal army, every Grey Warden in his country, and sending a call for aid to the Ferelden nobility. The assembled armies laid a trap in the ruins of Ostagar, hoping to crush their force before they reached civilization, but they failed. Darkspawn overran the defenders of Ostagar and decimated the king and his army. They continued their advance into Ferelden unopposed. Only 2 Grey Wardens managed to escape the slaughter, and somehow they came into possession of ancient treaties, which compelled the races of men to join arms against the massive horde. The surviving Wardens made their way to Kinloch Hold, home of the Ferelden Circle, and conscripted the mages. In desperation to find more allies, the Wardens journeyed into the Brisilian forest seeking the Dalish. The elves too joined the growing army. Into the deep roads the surviving Wardens went, searching for Paragon Bronca in hopes she could settle the unrest in Orzammar and unite the dwarves in the battle against the Archdemon. Bronca could not be located, but another Paragon was found, the legendary Caridin, who forged a crown that ended all questions of succession. Balin Iduken was crowned King of Orzammar, and the dwarven armies marched for the surface. Despite their successes, though, greater challenges were yet to come. From a study of the Fifth Blight by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. What in the world would make a goody-goody like you poke your nose in such a dirty business? Well, there's good Sir Tatus, of course. Some people... Oh, Isabella. And there's likely Poole likes to sail around the southern Cape of Ravane, rattling a saber and posturing like it meant something. No one really cares about Lachlan Poole does, though only a fool will say that to his face. You see, the thing about Lachlan Poole is he's got gold. Lots of it. All earned through legitimate means, even. He still has a trading company somewhere in the marches, and hires people to run it while he plays adventurer on the high seas. The Armada lets him do it because it always pays to have friends with coin. The one you should really watch out for is Ianto. They call him the Talon, the Terror of Lomarin, but most often that crooked bastard who might kill you in your sleep. Slavery, murder, torture, nothing is too much for Ianto. He is trafficked in souls if he discovered a way to extract them from people. In fact, I'm sure he has some Tevinter cronies working on that right this second. I'm sure there's coin to be made in stolen souls somewhere. The Imperium, probably. Isabella, self-proclaimed Queen of the Eastern Seas.
Thanks for checking anyway.
Ally with the Templars, I'd imagine. Seen them weaken magic.
What about the rebel majors?
Journal. I need more iron and a logging stand. Where's the smithy?
Are we going to have new verses of the Chant of Light?
With passioned breath does the darkness breathe. It is the
Good day. Or good as it could be with the sky ripped apart.
What kind of person stays to run a shop at a time like this?
The kind with nowhere else to go. Those blasted demons destroyed most of my goods. If I stay here, work some contacts, I can start rebuilding. Maybe, just maybe, help you folks out in the process.
You must speak with most everyone here. How are people doing?
Hope and fear in equal measure. No one really knows what it means when an Inquisition is called. Yet. I imagine it's no better for you. You've got my sympathies, for what it's worth.
Can I see what you have for sale?
Of course. My wares are at the table.
Guessing it's not this way. Man, this place is big.
If the Inquisition wants to field a decent cavalry, it needs better horses. I heard Seeker Pentecost might try to acquire suitors.
Expected you'd be by. I'm Harriet, and everyone knows who you are. How's the new gear fit?
Sturdy and warm. It's perfect.
Good. World's gone mad. Stock armor and blades are good against bandits, but we're not fighting bandits. My gear will see you through demons, apostates, whatever this world throws at you. So, you need custom work, something special. You bring the materials to us, we'll make it happen.
What can you and your team make here?
Arms and armor. We work iron to blighted dragonbone if you've got it. Our designs are simple, but they get the job done. You want something fancy, bring your own design. We'll see what we can do.
How did you come to be here?
Come from a little town called Lothering. Long gone now. I was in Redcliffe when the Darkspawn hit it during the Blight. Helped rebuild. Left when royalty decided it was time to hand the place over to the bloody mages. Ended up here. Just missed the boom. Can't decide if I'm the luckiest son of a bitch walking or the exact opposite.
You're still walking. That's always good.
True enough.
Who outfits the Inquisition's soldiers?
Not me. I've got work to do. Can't be passing a sword to every blighter who signs up. If you want to help the troops, talk to Thren, the quartermaster. She'll set up requisitions.
Does the Inquisition not have supplies to make armor or weapons?
Tough convincing traders to haul up here. Impossible to get them to risk the rare stuff, so that's on you.
If I want something, what can you make?
Start simple. Something to keep you safe. Take a look at it on the table there and we can talk. You'll need materials. We should have what you want just outside.
Can you help improve my arms and armor?
Yes. You find a new piece, a pauldron or greaves, we'll take care of you. You can't just slap a new hilt on your sword in the field. Bring it here, we'll make sure it's done right and proper.
Goodbye.
Right.
The warden sought Arl Eamon, uncle of the late King Cailan, in the hopes of mustering troops from the Ferelden nobility. Upon arriving in Redcliffe, they learned that the Earl had fallen ill and was near death. His knights had gone in pursuit of the fabled ashes of Andraste, Eamon's only hope for a cure, and the village surrounding the keep was beset by a horde of animated corpses. The wardens found and stopped the demon behind the undead before joining the search for Eamon's cure. No one is certain if the wardens actually located the final resting place of Our Lady Andraste, but whatever they found saved the Earl of Redcliffe. Upon his recovery, Eamon Guerin called for a landsmeet, and he and the wardens traveled to Denerim. The gathered lords and ladies of Ferelden found Tyrn Loghain guilty of a number of crimes and sentenced him to execution. Furthermore, the landsmeet bore witness to the betrothal of Queen Nora to Alistair Theron, the lost son of Merrick. The nobility then pledged their own armies in the battle against the Blight. The archdemon clashed with the allied forces at the city of Denerim and was eventually slain, but at terrible cost. Much of the city lay in ruin. The warden who rallied the armies was named the Hero of Ferelden and accorded the highest honor. The fifth Blight ended before most of Thedas knew it had begun, but it left a terrible wound on Ferelden. The losses suffered at Ostagar and Denerim greatly compromised the security of the kingdom. Southern Ferelden from the Kakari Wilds to the edge of the Banorn are, to this day, a wasteland. It's uncertain how far the ripples from this event shall travel, or what waves it has already stirred. From a study of the Fifth Blight by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. It's a nug! Okay, well, I think this would be a good place to stop for now. We've gone on long enough. So, save here. Oh, it's saving right now. Okay. We'll pick up next time. Maybe do a few side quests, meet with our inner circle, and... Ooh, can I level up? Yes, I can. Stand firm and block incoming attacks at the cost of stamina. Each block adds to your guard. You move much more slowly while sustaining this ability. Fight all the harder and when you're hurting, gain stamina when you lose health. There you go. Okay. So, if you liked this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time.